I think this is Train the Trainer. I think you will be doing training for your district if I'm understanding correct. Okay. So this training will be, not only are we learning how to use the device, but also learning some best practices for training how to use the device. So I want to show you our asynchronous materials first. I'm going to put our support site link into the chat for you. What I would like for you to do, if you have a computer in front of you, is to click on this link and kind of peruse the contents of this site with me. All right, so here we have the How Can We Help page, if you can see that.
Yes.
Okay, how can we help? So you're going to click down, it says helpful links, and then contact us. If you click contact us here or contact us here, you will see a form to fill out to actually get support from Matt Woodward, who is on the call with us today. And we just had another, oh, Nicole joined twice. Hello. Okay. So that's how you contact us if you need us. We will get to you right away. Rima is with us. Hello, Rima. We just got started and we started the recording. Do you have anything you want to say before we continue?
No, I've had a chance to meet Nicole. Hi, Nicole. I sent an email with the voice request and the remote control guide, which will help you throughout the session. I don't know if you've had a chance to open it.
And those are going to be really good training tools for you because this is a Train the Trainer session. And so you will want those tools that she emailed. Please repost the link. Okay. Copy. All right. And I really appreciate you being on camera because it helps me understand how my training is progressing and what kind of help and support I can give you. I really watch visual cues. I did virtual education for so many years that I know that if I've got you on camera, I can make sure that you're engaged. I can keep you with me and I can see if you're frustrated or I can see the signs of confusion. So I'll be watching for signs that I need to slow down or speed up. Okay, so here's the link. This is our support site. Click contact us to get to Matt Woodward. Then you see Merlyn University. You are a trainer, so this is going to be your best friend, okay? Click on Merlyn University. The first thing you're going to see when you come in is this Merlyn Origin orientation. This orientation is going to take your teachers and yourself through all of Origin features. Now, we just had a couple of features update that were just barely released, and this Origin orientation will be updated. But currently, we haven't added in the brand new released features, but they are in design and they will come out soon. You can access this link by clicking on the Let's Go button. And let me show you a little bit about how the resource looks, okay? When your teachers come and they're like, okay, how do I get started? You send them this link right here. We have it broken up to basic usage, how to control, how to access, navigate, share, and manage different tools. This is a button that allows you to show your teachers Merlyn in action. So they're like, what even is Merlyn? Well, this is a video that they can watch that gives just a very high level overview. It is not a training video. It is simply a demonstration of what's capable. And so if they need like a background context, if you're going to have a PD session and they're like, okay, we're going to learn about Merlyn, and they're like, what even is it? You can play this video. Sorry, there's two microphones on in your space, Nicole. If you could turn it off so I can't hear myself feedbacking.
What about now?
I can still hear feedbacking. Just turn off both of your mics.
Hold on a second.
Kevin's doing it.
Okay. It's always nice to have a Kevin on your side. I've got my own Kevin. Here he is. Hi, Matt. Matt is the reason why my life is successful. Oh, he saves us all.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. I try to tell him. I don't think he believes me.
Wendy.
Okay, feedback. I don't hear it anymore. So, okay, let's continue on. All right, so this is that demo video. It might be fun for you to pull the teachers into PD and show them this little video. And these are people from our company that have actively built this company that you're seeing in this video. So it's pretty exciting. You're getting in on the ground floor, meaning you're going to be meeting some very important people and hopefully be able to be involved in some important projects with the company as we continue to build, especially if usage is really, really good. If you are able to train your staff to the point where they're actually using the device and we see that you have high usage, we're going to pull you in. We're going to interview you. We're going to do videos. We're going to go to your school. We're going to film you. We're going to ask you to do blog posts. We're going to get you on the map is really what's happened with other schools as well. We've got some schools that were early adopters that we have done promo videos with. We've gone out and visited them. We've done summits, like we're really connected. So we would really like to make sure that you have the base that you need to really be successful and to be able to get your teachers using this to a high level. Okay, so there's that demo you can show. You can also learn how to use the remote. So each one of these buttons, if you hover over the green dot, it shows you what these buttons do so the teachers can go in and kind of review this. And I would actually highly recommend that this is done prior to a live session, because it's going to give them that background knowledge that they can then draw from. Now, that's my way of doing things. I like to kind of hedge my bets and get as much done virtually as I possibly can. And then when they get together with me, I can say, okay, did you do the orientation? What did you notice? Were you able to practice? And what you're going to see is some of your teachers are going to take that orientation. And I'm sorry, my dog is playing with his little piggy and it's squeaking. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay. So some of your teachers are going to pick up this orientation. They're going to do the orientation. They're going to pick up the remote and they're going to go. And they're not going to need you, and they will fly solo and they will be fantastic. Some of your teachers are going to pick up this orientation and they're going to burst into tears. Oh, that is a little bit of a hyperbole, but you know what I mean. They're going to say, Nicole, thank you for this session. Thank you for this link. I still need to see it in action. So that's why we say that's fine. Just orient yourself to the device. You don't have to understand it fully by the time you're done. Just orient yourself. And then when we get together, I'll take you through it. Now, as a trainer, you can use this as a training resource for yourself. You can pull this presentation up and you can use your air mouse to click on these buttons and move through the slides and teach what each thing is if you want. You're the trainer. It's your universe. So if this style doesn't work for you, you can do it how I'm going to train you here in just a minute. Or you can design your own training completely and work with the needs of your individual teachers the way that you know they respond best. So it gives you the remote guide. It teaches you how to use voice commands. It teaches you about the push to talk button and how to speak to it. For instance, you have to teach your teachers to press and hold the push to talk button, wait for the beep, give your request, and release the button. I know it sounds very simple, and for some teachers it really will be, but for other teachers it really won't be simple for them. And usually it's people that struggle maybe incorporating technology into their classroom. Sometimes it's teachers that have advanced in their careers quite a few years that struggle more than others, but that's normal. The cool thing is that I've been able to train teachers that have been in the classroom for a year, and I've been able to train teachers who've been in the classroom and they're close to retirement. And all spans are able to use this device. So even if you have a teacher that's number one, not tech savvy, and number two, maybe aging in their career, they can still be successful with this. In fact, some of our most successful users are people that thought they couldn't even, they wanted to throw the remote in the garbage can. So just as a trainer, just be aware that you're going to have that continuum of ability and plan for that. I have a link to every single module that kind of goes into further detail. So for instance, if you wanted to learn more about how to work with the push to talk button, maybe you have a teacher that needs extension. Maybe you've given them this orientation and they still need help. They can come in and click take the module and get even more further learning and extend their experiences. Also, these modules are our certification program modules. And so if they complete a series of 4, they can then apply for a badge for free PD credit hours, and the badge is free. So they can become novices, then they can become apprentices, scholars. That's all at Merlyn University. It's free PD credit hours. So if they have PD credit they have to get, it goes towards that. We send a certificate out to the teacher, to the administrator, and the badge that can be included in an email signature. Okay. Again, we have some practice voice commands here. So things like, what's the weather? What time is it? All those types of things. So they can practice that. So I just kind of wanted to show you what this resource looks like and what it offers. So then let's come back here. So this is how you get to that orientation. You go to the Merlyn University right here. This original link I sent you, click on Merlyn University, and it's going to take you here. So this orientation does not give any PD credit. This is just simply self-paced training. But when you come down here, this is the module work I was talking to you about. This is our certification program. It's called Educator Essentials. We have 4 levels. The first one, just kind of get to know your assistant, get to know the remote, get to know the overlay menu, and teaches you how to use timers. These are some of our most important features. And if all your teachers ever did was module 1 and got their novice badge, that would be great. However, apprentice has a lot of the meat and the depth, and teachers that really want to take this and really incorporate it deeply into their classroom. So for instance, controlling and opening videos, searching for doing remote searches, navigating the web, controlling presentations, things like that, that are really going to elevate their experience with Merlyn. That's in this level. Level 3 is where we started to get into things like sharing web links. We've got shortcuts coming. We've got chatting with Merlyn Chat. Chatting with Merlyn Chat is going to change pedagogy. All of a sudden, you're going to start seeing generative AI being used in real time in your class. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. You're going to love it. Then we have an instructional support essentials. And I highly recommend that you as the trainer take this module because it's going to show you how Merlyn Origin is incorporated into authentic engagement, behavior management, social and emotional learning, digital citizenship, the needs of students with exceptionalities. You're going to learn how to use it in a direct instruction lesson plan. And so you as a trainer are going to get this contextual application so that when you're training it, you can reference that. And then you can get your advanced badge as well. So I like to tell all of my trainers that they need to become Merlyn certified. So essentially, Nicole, you need to complete everything on this page. It's homework, I know, but it will go by quickly. These modules are fun, they are fast, they are easy, and they are informative. I have had people finish these modules 5 minutes apiece. Okay, so it is not going to eat too much of your time. However, support yourself as a trainer by becoming Merlyn certified. And you can even say, I am Merlyn certified. And that will give you some credentials as well with your teachers. Okay, so that's our certification program. The next thing I wanted to show you is if you click on guides right here, guides is going to take you into all these different kind of guides. Get started. This could be very helpful for teachers. Training and support, installer guide, remote guide. Remus sent the remote guide to you. This is an important one to maybe print out and hand out. Like if you're doing a PD session, you can print this off and have this ready in front of your teacher so they can reference it. Now I'm going to show you this voice request guide, and this is going to essentially act as a lesson plan for you as a PD training delivery person. Okay, so let's open this up and look at it. Basically, it tells you all the things you can do, and it gives you all the things you say. It gives you actual phrases that will work with Merlyn. So you can start with teaching the teachers to ask for the weather and the time. You can have them control the volume. You can have them search on websites. You can have them use Merlyn Chat, and you can do it in this order if you want, okay? But this is kind of like a lesson plan that you can follow. You can also download this, and you can, right here, Origin request list right here. You can, oh, yay. You can download this here, and that you can hand that out to teachers. I recommend them having something to hold in their hands at the end of your session. Okay, so those are the main things I want to show you. Do you have any questions about your training materials and certification? Okay, all right, so let's go and let's start learning about the remote. So now we're going to look into actual usage of the device And I'm going to embed within the basic device usage andragogical practices to be working and making sure we're instructing teachers in the best and most effective way. And the reason why is not that I doubt your ability to train. It's that this is a brand new product that's never been really introduced before, and it's all new skills for everyone. And so we just want to make sure that we're using the very, very best techniques to get teachers excited, on board, and not feel frustrated. Okay, so let's look at this remote really quick. Hold up your remote so I can see it. We are actually going to be using this remote today. So I want you to click on this button right here and tell me what you see. And your microphone is off, yeah. Not yet.
What about now?
Yep, I got you. There is the feedback thing, but it's okay if you just pop on and just tell me what you see and then mute it again.
There's a menu that comes up at the right in the top screen.
So what I want you to do now is just practice clicking on those things. And go ahead and mute yourself so I don't hear the echo. And then just click on those things and just what comes up. You should see Merlyn chat. You should see a question mark that takes you to help. You should see the compass that takes you to explore. You should see a little tiny remote, and then you should see an account and settings. Okay, now the tiny remote. The tiny remote is helps you find a lost remote. Now, what you're going to ask me now is, how do I open the overlay to get to that that icon if I don't have my remote to open the overlay, right? Because if the remote's lost, you can't hit that orange overlay button. So what are you going to do? What you do is you go down to your tray at the bottom of your screen, and right by the date and time, you're going to see a little up caret. It's going to say show hidden icons. Within that, you're going to find the orange dot. If you click on that orange dot, it will open the overlay for you without the remote. Then you use your conventional mouse to click on that Find My Remote button, and your remote will sing. Is it singing? Were you able? Good. Now, I know a lot of teachers that like to hide their remote in the classroom and then play this game where they find the remote. It's a fun little brain break for kids, especially for elementary. So make sure you teach that game. Teach the Find My Remote game. That's an important part of being a trainer. It's a really good, fun introduction to the device and gets teachers excited right off the bat. And students love it. They're like, oh, can we play Find My Remote? Can we play Find My Remote? And they really, really love that. So it can become kind of like a positive reinforcement strategy for a behavioral management system. All right, so now let's look at these two buttons. This is the push to talk button. This is the air mouse. Now you are already using these. You're already using these buttons pretty well, and that's very encouraging. I'm just going to teach you how to teach them because you already know how to use them. I'm going to teach you how to teach them. This is the push to talk button. So that's what you call it. It's a push to talk. This is a portal between your mouth and the AI assistant named Merlyn. It is essentially like a walkie-talkie with your robot, okay? All you have to do is press and hold the push to talk button, wait for the beep, give your request, and release the button. If it's not followed in those steps, you are going to, some of your teachers are going to struggle. It has to be this. This is how it goes. It's a rap, okay? It's a rap. It sounds like this. And this is how you're going to teach it. Press and hold, wait for the beep, give your request and release. Press and hold, wait for the beep, give your request and release. I know it's silly, but it's the only way I have found that works. It has to be done in that order. If they don't wait for the beep, they're going to think it's broken. They're going to get frustrated. You're going to get frustrated. So it's press and hold, wait for the beep, give your request and release. I hope you don't forget that. I know it is silly, but that is the best way I have found to train on this button. Now, The next button we have is the air mouse. This is an on-off switch. You press it on and it makes the cursor move on your screen. You press it again and the cursor cannot move. A lot of people think that this button is the select button and they try to press this to select things. This is your select button. You will have teachers that push this button to select. It will happen. So make sure you mitigate that by telling them all this is an on-off switch. That's it. Okay, so now we're going to look at the D-pad. Okay, the D-pad, most teachers have some kind of experience with the D-pad. Left and right is, you know, we know in videos, you rewind and fast forward and play pause, right? And then this can also move across your tabs, so you can navigate across tabs. If you have 10, 15, 20 tabs open, you can go across tabs here. And this scrolls up and down. Okay, so, and this also goes across Google Slides. So we're going to practice some of those things right now. So let's go ahead and practice using the push to talk button. Let's say the following thing. And I'm going to show you how to teach the voice command structure right now. It's very easy. And I'm going to do it in a very silly way that you will remember from here on out, because you'll be like, that was super silly. But your teachers are going to remember it too. So do it as silly as you can, and then they'll remember it, and then everyone will be fine. So, sorry, my dogs are being super annoying. All right, so what we do is we say, where do you want to search? And what do you want to search for? So you're going to search on a specific website for a specific content. So it's on and for. On and for. Search on a website for content, on a website for content, okay? So we're gonna say search on YouTube, because I wanna go to YouTube, for brain breaks. So we're gonna practice that now. Press and hold the push to talk button, wait for the beep, give your request and release. Search on YouTube for brain breaks. Let's try that now. Search on YouTube for brain breaks. And what should happen is that YouTube then pulls up a page filled with brain breaks. Do you see this? Okay, so now let's say, okay, we want to scroll and find the brain break we want. So here's how you do that. You turn the air mouse on with the air mouse button. You point it at YouTube, okay? Point it at the page. Put the cursor somewhere on the page. Doesn't matter where it is, just put it on the page. If your cursor's over here or your cursor's over here, nothing's going to happen. So put the cursor on the page, and then you're going to press down on the D-pad and it's going to scroll down so you can find the video you want. So try that now and give me a thumbs up if you were able to scroll. Remember to put your cursor on the page on which you want to scroll and then press down on the D-pad. Is that scrolling for you? All right, you press up on the D-pad, it'll scroll you back to the top. There you go. Perfect. You've got it. You can also say scroll up, scroll down, scroll to the top, scroll to the bottom. You can use voice commands if you want as well. Okay, so now we are going to use our air mouse to hover over this bluey egg hunt. Okay, hold on. I got to take my squeaky pig away from my dog. Hold on. No squeaky pigs. Okay. We're going to hover our cursor over the video we want to open, okay? And we are going to double click quickly, not 1, 2, but double click, just like we would with the left mouse, the center orange button. That will select the video. Shh. Okay? Now, once the video opens, you can hit that center orange button again, and it will pause the video because that then becomes your play and pause. Yes? Oh, I need to let my dog out. Hold on. Maybe that's why he's being annoying. I apologize. There's nobody here today but me, and they are driving me nuts. Give me 1 second. I really apologize. Maybe Matt can take over for a second.
Absolutely. We were looking up brain breaks and YouTube, right? Wonderful. Have you gone full screen yet? All right, I bet you can assume what that command is going to be, right? You click it, you say go full screen or just full screen, and it'll go. One of the things that our AI tries to do is understand the intent of what you are asking. So as long as whatever it is that you ask is pretty close to a command that we can do, we'll probably be able to capture it.
Yes, exactly. So if we want, so now he's exactly right. He's actually taking you to the next logical step. If we want to continue to practice using media controls, we have this video open, but we have it open in the advertisement pane. We want to go full screen, so we press and hold the push to talk button, wait for the beep and say, go full screen. When we go full screen, we can now rewind and fast forward. We can't do that in the advertisement pane mode, but we can fast forward in full screen. So if you press the forward button, if you press that right button, it'll jump forward 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds every time you push it. Let's jump back 10 seconds every time you press the left one. So try going to full screen, and then try jumping forward 10-second increments by using the D-pad. And when you do that, give me a thumbs up. Sweet. Kevin's got a thumbs up. Kevin, come in the frame. I want to see you're giving good feedback. I'm watching you too. Scoot. I'm just kidding. You can stay where you are if you're comfortable. Okay, so were you able to fast forward and rewind? Perfect. Now, you're very good. So I want to know, if you wanted to exit out of full screen, what do you think you would say? Yeah, I heard, I just saw your mouth say it. Do it. Exit full screen. And that's going to take you back to the advertisement window where you can scroll, blah, blah, blah. Now, another thing I want to show you is, let's say you're across the room, you can't really read it, you can't really see it. Maybe you forgot your glasses that day. Maybe you have a student with disabilities. Maybe you have visual impairment in your classroom. What you can say here is zoom in. Now, I say it really annoying. I say zoom in, and I say it just like that because when I don't, Zoom pulls up and it drives me crazy. So I say zoom in. Okay, so that will make it bigger. Now, if we want to go back, we say what? Try it. Zoom out. And there we go. We go back. You can do it again too. You can zoom out even more. You can zoom in even more. Just depends on how you want to do it. It zooms in increments. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to our Google Drive. I want you to say, do you use Google Drive, correct? Do you have a slide presentation in your Google Drive that you know the name of? Okay, I have a slide presentation in my Google Drive called the writing process, and I know that. And when I'm working with Merlyn, I make sure to only name my slide decks with words. I do not name my slide decks with numbers or punctuation because Merlyn struggles to read numbers and punctuation, but Merlyn reads words quite well. So I know in my head, because I made this, I have a presentation in my Google Drive called the writing process. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do on and for. Ready? I'm going to search on Google Drive for the writing process. Watch this. Search on Google Drive for the writing process. So it's going to open my Google. Oops, nope. Let's try that again. Close tab. If you ever go somewhere where you don't want to go, you just say close tab and it's done. Okay, let's try this again. Search on Google Drive for the writing process. So you can see if you make a mistake, you can close the tab and start fresh, and you can enunciate more clearly. So when I struggle to get something open and maybe I said it too fast, I'll just go back and say, search on Google Drive for blah, blah, blah. And it's annoying, but we are still making Merlyn smart. And as much and the more we use it, the better it gets. The more users we have, the better this technology goes. The more resources we have to work with, the more data we have. So we've got to get teachers using this so we can continually improve it. Okay, now you can see my writing process right here, right? I'm hovering my mouse on the writing process, and I'm going to double click the center select button, center enter, that orange button in the D-pad. I'm going to double click, and it's going to open that presentation. Now, you're in the editor mode. Sometimes teachers like to present in the editor mode. And so if you like to present in editor mode, you can just simply hover on the slide you want and click on it to choose it. Or you can drag the slider down by pressing and holding that orange center button while you're moving your remote up and down. So I want to see that you can control your editor side with your remote. All you do is just hover over the slide you want and click on it. And if you want to be able to move down, you just press and hold that center orange button and move your cursor up and down. Is that working for you? Thumbs up or not? Yay! Okay, now you're in, now let's say, okay, I am ready to actually do this as a presentation. I'm going to be presenting to my students. I'm going to be presenting to the staff. And you're going to use this function most likely when you're training. So here's what you do to get into full screen. It's very similar to how you got to full screen in YouTube. So I want to see if you can get this into full screen based on how you remember getting into full screen on YouTube. And if you need help, just put your hand up, finger. Yeah, go full screen. I can see your mouth moving. Yep, go full screen. So we're going to say, go full screen. Now you're in presentation mode. Once you're in presentation mode, you can use the D-pad to go back and forth between slides. So the right and the left will take you to the next slide. I have a video embedded in here. So if I want to open that video and make it play, all I have to do is press what? Center orange button. Your play pause. Okay, so that's going to play that video and I'm going to pause it again. Now, you can go back and forth through your slides, okay, with the left and right on the D-pad. So practice going back and forth through slides with your D-pad. Okay, now if you wanted to exit out of full screen and go back to the editor pane, what do you think you would say? Exit full screen. So let's try that. Exit full screen. So that's the same command as the YouTube. YouTube and Google Slides, you can go full screen to open full screen, exit full screen to get out of full screen. Okay? Now, let's say that you want to, let's see. No, we did Zoom, we did scroll, we did media controls, we did Google controls, and we did navigation across tabs. Just want to make sure you know you can navigate across the tabs by going left and right. I think you already did that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to my visualizer and we're going to start learning some different buttons. Okay, so this button right here is called the back button. Do not press this button. If you press this button right now, this training will be officially over and we will have to go through a big hullabaloo to get you back in the room and get everything set up again. It has ruined many a training and I will not let it ruin another one. But just so you know, this is an escape key. So if your teachers open something they don't want, they can quickly hit this button and get out of it. Okay? Or they can say close tab. That is get me out of here. Okay? Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to skip this button for now because I'm going to come back to this at the end. We're going to go down here. Press this button and tell me what happens. What happened? Show wall windows, our favorite. This is nice for when you have a lot of things open. Maybe you have 2 web browser tabs open. Maybe you have a PDF open and you just need to find it quickly. Press the mission control button, hover with your cursor over the window you want, double click center enter, and you've got it. Okay, so there's the mission control button. Now let's look over here. This is a volume control. This is going to control whatever volume you've chosen as your system volume. Okay. And now we're going to look at these buttons right here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to press number 1 and tell me what happens. Custom shortcuts. So you can go try it now. Go click try it now. And we can customize Merlyn shortcuts there. What that means is all of these buttons that you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, can be customizable. They are currently pre-programmed with a few little odds and ends that you're welcome to use if you would like. For instance, we've got like a screenshot and things like that, Google Drive, but you're going to go into that where what I just showed you when you click number 1, and you're going to go set your own shortcuts. So whatever you want to open, maybe you want Google Drive to open every single time you press number 1, or maybe you want a specific website like ReadWorks or something that you always go to go, that's number 2. These are just quick access buttons that your teachers can customize for themselves. Okay, now we are almost to the end of this training, if you can believe it. I'm going to now teach you one of the most exciting and fun and revolutionary generative AI pedagogical experiences that the world has never seen before. And so this is where the meat is going to come. Okay, so far we've had appetizers, we had our salad, we had our soup, we even maybe had like a little charcuterie board. Now we're going to the steak. All right. So what I want you to do is click on this button. What pulls up for you? Do you see Merlyn chat bubble? Okay. So I'm going to show you this on my screen. You should be able to see this. Merlyn chat. Do you see this little button right here? This is your mute button. This mutes Merlyn. Now, if you want to unmute Merlyn, all you do is click that button and Merlyn is unmuted. Now, let me tell you why you might want to mute it and why you might not want to mute it. Okay? When you ask a question to Merlyn, generative AI is going to create a response. Merlyn then has the capability to read that response for you. Now, that's a nice tool if you need an extra set of hands. However, pedagogically, it is not very sound. Personally, I would want to either read that to my students slowly, or I would want them to read it aloud, or I would want another student to read it. But I would not use this unless you really need an assistant to read for you for some reason. Maybe someone asked a question and you're dealing with a behavior in the corner and there's no one there to help you. You can have Merlyn read for you, but it's in an emergency context and shouldn't really be something that's incorporated in pedagogy. My opinion. Maybe you can prove me wrong. Maybe you find a better use for it. But that's from what I understand about working with reading. We need to make sure we are getting kids reading as often as possible. Okay, so that's how you mute Merlyn. Now also here, if you click this, this will always refresh your chat. So let's say you had a chat session, the students asked a couple of questions, you had a whole thread going, and then the next day you come in and you open Merlyn chat with the button, and then you got all your old stuff in there. That can either be awesome because you can continue on with what you were doing yesterday, or that can be annoying because it's taking up mental load. So if you need to refresh your chat, all you do is click clear screen and you can say start a new chat. The thing is though, if you start a new chat, you cannot go back to your old chat ever. So decide if you want to delete it or not. Okay, now let's practice using this thing. Okay, and I want you to know that this is revolutionary, first of its kind. You are at the cusp of technology in education. You are literally a pioneer, an innovator, and an early adopter. That's kind of where we're at. We're at early adopter stage in the diffusion of innovation theory, and that's where you're at. So let's show you how this is going to work pedagogically. So let's say you're having a lesson and you're learning about animal life, and you just told your students that dolphins are mammals that feed their live young, and they have, you know, they're mammals, they have to breathe oxygen. And your students go, wait. How do they breathe oxygen if they live in the water? And then you say, well, I mean, everyone knows this. They come up to the surface, they have a little blowhole, and they suck air in, and then they close it back up and they go underwater, and they can stay under there for about 10 to 15 minutes before they take another breath. You knew that, right? Okay, everyone knows that. Then what if your very, very perceptive and interested and excited student says to you, how do they sleep? Have you ever wondered how would a mammal who has to breathe every 10 to 15 minutes ever get any rest? Well, we know they have to rest. So your student says, how do dolphins sleep? And instead of saying the following, stay on topic, please, which I've heard a million times, or I don't know the answer, we'll get back to that later, or I don't know, I'm sorry, I guess we'll have to look that up on Google later. Or I don't know, maybe you should look up and tell me. There's all sorts of things you could say that we would have had to say in the past. Now pedagogy is changing because we can get answers to these authentic questions right in the moment. So this is what we say. Oh my goodness, I don't know the answer to that, but you want to know what? We can ask Merlyn. Here we go. How do dolphins sleep? And you can train your kids to use the remote and actually ask the question themselves. How do dolphins sleep? Okay, now what's going to happen is Merlyn is generating a response. I muted this so you can't hear Merlyn reading it, but it brought up an answer to this question. Dolphins sleep differently than humans. They have two sides of their brain. They sleep unihemispherically. So they sleep with one side of their brain is asleep while the other one keeps them alive, and then they switch. And the other side of their brain, one eye is open, one eye is closed. That's how they sleep. How would we have ever known that? But we were able to get the answer to that question in real time. And not only that, it provided us with images to show the dolphin's eyes being open. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover and we're going to click on one of these pictures to make it bigger and say, see, this eye is open, this eye is closed. These dolphins are sleeping right now. Now, if you see down here, we've got the Bing image search where this image came from. We also have the YouTube link. I'm going to click on this YouTube link using my air mouse, and I'm going to go to this video. Okay, and now we're like, okay, well, we just learned about unihemispheric sleep, right? We just learned about that. Now let's watch a video about it. So now, oh my goodness, you get to follow an authentic learning strand that was created just based on the question of a student. And the cool thing is that now with generative AI, it's more important what questions students can generate than what answers they know. And that's where education really starts to get exciting. So I just opened a YouTube video from that image search from Merlyn Chat. Now I'm going to say, okay, students, fantastic. I love this question. I want to watch this video. However, we're going to have to do it later today. I'm going to send this video to Google Classroom so we can watch it later and we can have that link. So all you do is say, share with Google Classroom. And it's going to tell you which class do you want to share with. And you're going to select the one you want. And it's going to share it directly into your classroom feed right there for you. So then you can say, go home, watch the video, come back, and we're going to do a project. And then all of a sudden you have taken a student's question and developed an entire lesson plan on the fly with no preparation, and you looked like a rock star. Very cool. So now we're going to come back to Merlyn Chat by clicking on the Merlyn Chat button, and I want you to play. Let's ask Merlyn, let's have you ask Merlyn a question that you don't know the answer to, something about dolphins. What's something about dolphins that you don't know?
The oldest living dolphin.
Well, let's see if Merlyn knows the answer to that. If it doesn't, it will give you a button that says Google it. You'll click that button and it will pull it up on Google. So remember, Merlyn Chat is still being programmed. We do not program it with anything that could be dangerous, harmful, or inappropriate. Sometimes some things are flagged inappropriately and shouldn't be flagged. So in that case, you click Google it. Okay. For instance, Merlyn doesn't know how to create a Molotov cocktail. It has no idea because it hasn't been programmed with that information. The internet obviously does have that information. So if Merlyn Chat doesn't have it, you can always click Google it and go to Google to answer that question. So let's see if Merlyn knows the answer to what is the age of the oldest dolphin? If it doesn't know that, we could rephrase the question and say, how long do dolphins usually live? All right, so what happened? Did it generate a response for you or did it give you a Google it button? It generated a response. Okay, now I want you to click on one of those images. And then I want you to find the source link and I want you to click on it. So I can't hear you. I can see you're nodding your head or shaking your head, so I can see you're frustrated. It didn't give any images. Interesting. Okay, so let's try this one. Ask Merlyn, how do dolphins drink water? They get it from their food, right? Very strange. They don't
Still
drink
no images, I'm going to guess.
No images?
So is an image search result blocked in your district?
Oh, interesting.
Is
It could be.
That could be blocking it. If you have blocked image searches through Google or Bing or any of that, it would block these as well.
Yeah. So check with Bing, because I believe this is a Bing image search, correct, Matt?
Correct.
All right, so let's have Matt work with you on the back end with this. But I do want you to know that when you have those images, and I'll show it to you again, when you have those images, you can click on them, click on the source link, open that source link, and then share with Google Classroom. Let's practice sharing with Google Classroom. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to say, search on YouTube for why do dolphins sleep with one eye open? Okay. Search on YouTube for why do dolphins sleep with one eye open? Hopefully that will pull up this video. And now you can say, share with Google Classroom. And then choose the classroom you want. If you have multiple classrooms, hover over the class you want to share with and click on it, and it will instantaneously show up in your classroom announcements. And then you can say, I just shared this video to Google Classroom. After lunch, we'll come back, we'll watch the video, and we'll do a summary. And then you get to teach science and writing and reading all in one incorporated lesson plan, completely guided by an authentic question and supported by generative AI. Pedagogy is changing. All of a sudden, questions are more important than answers. And that's why Merlyn is cool. Questions are where it's at now. Have the students generating as many questions as they can possibly think of. And that's where pedagogy is going, toward questioning. Because we can get whatever answers we want now. But who's going to generate the questions in the world? The kids. The kids. Okay, so now I want you to set a timer for 30 seconds by holding the push to talk button and saying set a timer for 30 seconds. And you should see your timer pop up in the right corner. All right, during that timer time, we are going to talk about the feedback section. The feedback button's on the remote. If you like the response that Merlyn gave you, give a thumbs up. If the response that Merlyn gave you was inaccurate or strange, press thumbs down. If the response is, we don't know, we don't have it, Google it, give us a thumbs down. Thumbs down it. We should be answering those questions. And that is the only way we can get Merlyn to get smarter, is if people use it. You have to use it. You have to tell us where we need to improve. So just give us a thumbs down if we made you Google it. Give us a thumbs down if there's something inaccurate. Give us a thumbs down if it's a ridiculous response. Watch this. How tall is the Eiffel Tower? Watch this. I know that this is going to be a dumb response because it always, oh, never mind, they fixed it. See, I sent this in for feedback. I pressed thumbs down and it was fixed. This used to say the Eiffel Tower is tall. That's what Merlyn used to say when I asked this question. This has been my example for a couple of trainings now. And then I thumbs down and they went in and fixed it. So that's a perfect example of how your feedback is making Merlyn better. Okay. All right. So that's Merlyn Chat. Now, if you want to close Merlyn Chat, just press the chat button again. And that's the feedback buttons. And now, my friend, you have what you need.